and the lights are out, and away we go. And it's going to be Jer who gets a great start ahead of Sweet Crown 19. It's going to be the Ferrari, though, of Josh 2, challenging for second position into turn number 1. But ultimately, they're still side by side. What great action here at the first lap, but it is going to be ultimately Jer who does get ahead of the Ferrari. It's a good start from the Renaults, only now 3rd and 4th on the grid, but it's Sweet Crown 19 who ultimately does lead this Grand Prix. There's a little bit of a issue with the graphic there, and there's some drivers off track. It looked like Isat who went off track. Does he have damage on that car? Yes, he does. Oh, no, he seems to be okay, so we got lucky. Young Lights is out, and it's a safety car in lap number 1. Pubed has a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with the driver in the Alfa Romeo, Young Lights, who is out of this race at the end of the bank turn, and he is going to go now, I think. Yes, he does. He got a pretty good jump on Sweet Crown 19, actually, who was not expecting him to be so late on there, and the rest of the grid now, Josh 2 actually putting on the pressure to Sweet Crown 19, coming into turn 1. There's a few jostling of positions. Jedian is up a position back into 5th ahead of VR, so they are squabbling a little bit. VR actually went on the grass right there for a second. IRC Toby has gone ahead of Carter, and there's a big dive on the outside for Carter. On the inside is Isaac Kush. He's sitting in 10th, making up positions already, battling with Carter now down to 11th position. So a good start for some, not a great start for others. So Fionn now into the pits, and it's Light F1. He is out of the race. So
out.
Big issues.
A bit of a scary moment.
And Jamie gets ahead of him. Sweet Crown 19 goes fastest on track, so he's on pace right now. It's right on board of him. They're separated by a very little bit here, as Elbiku has had an issue, and he is out of the race.
He's out.
Is that going to be another safety car as he is crashed? And yes, it is another safety car. He's crashed just at the beginning near turn number 1, and Elbiku is out of the Dutch Grand Prix here in Tier 1, and back to safety car conditions in this race. Jer still leading. Sweet Crown 19 must be not very happy because he keeps getting on the momentum, and then it keeps getting taken away from him. And we've had 2 safety cars in the span of 5 laps. Sweet Crown 19 waiting. Jer keeping him slow now, coming out of that final turn. Still not going. Still warming up his tires. He's still not going. Now he goes.
Oh, there we go.
And Sweet Crown 19 didn't expect it again. He's off the slow start. And here comes Josh 2 in the turn 1. Looking on the inside, but ultimately didn't make it. And now Carter and Jamie are battling the 2 Mercedes teammates. And let's see how they do side by side coming up into the chicane. Ooh, there's contact. And it's Jamie who goes down the order a little bit there. Now a move around the outside, possibly from Carter on VR, and it's not been a good start for the 2 Mercedes. They made contact there, and it's Jamie who came off worse, and now Gurman is up a position, now chasing down Jamie, who got compromised by his teammate on that restart. And here comes Isaac, DRS, and ERS trying to make a move around the outside, a little bit of contact. And the McLaren still battling with that Racing Point driver. Finally does get hit of him, and now Pube will try to take advantage and try to go around the outside of Nathan, coming into that penultimate turn. And he make the move, and a spin from Nathan into the wall. That's going to be some damage for him. I don't think that's going to bring out the safety car, but Nathan has a spin, and he's down in plumb last in this Grand Prix. Not where he expected to be after he was having a great battle with Isaac, but ultimately Pube tries to make a move around the outside, and I think that Nathan kind of kept it in there. Duwill spun. He is now going to have wing damage, and now he's going to be plumb last. And there's some moves up the field here as you see the Mercedes and Gurman are starting the battle with Carter and Gurman. But Nathan, I think he kept it a little bit too late there with Pube, and ultimately gets spun round. No, so I'm just trying to see here. Sweet Crown 19 is coming out of the pit lane. Here comes Jer. It's going to be really, really close between these 2. Side by side out of the pit lane. Here we go. Here's the race for the lead. Still side by side on the inside. Here comes Sweet Crown 19 on the outside. Jer just about to take the lead. No, he doesn't. Still side by side, Sweet Crown 19 and Jared. This is the battle for the lead. Oh my goodness, Sweet Crown into the wall, and he's out of the race. Unbelievable contact between the 2 drivers. Sweet Crown 19 is out of the Dutch Grand Prix. Something we didn't expect, into the wall. Is that going to be a safety car? I don't think it is, but that is Sweet Crown 19 into the wall, and that was side by side action. Jared making contact with him, and that is going to be some big discussion after this race. Sweet Crown 19 is out of it, though.
So it looks like, at least for now, Garmin is sitting in a net P1 for the Red Bull squad here on lap 18, just assuming Carter's making a pit stop.
I want to ride on board of Jediant and ISRL Esports. They're having a little bit of a battle right now. On the inside goes Jediant and just gets ahead. No, but then Esports has a little bit of an issue. Wheel spin out of the back there, and Toby now trying to get ahead of him, but ultimately Esports does keep at least 11th position in this race, ahead of IRC Toby. Jamie has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings.
Then he's actually stuck in a Ferrari sandwich right now between
a Ferrari battle. They're gonna go 3 wide almost into turn 1, and look at this. Josh 2 and Jer are battling. They're making side-by-side contact. Josh 2 gets almost pushed off track by the AlphaTauri driver, and now up in the 5th position. Now a dive around the outside by Josh 2, and he's got to be careful here because he's got his Ferrari teammate behind him. So the 2 Ferraris, 6th and 7th on the grid, they don't want to make contact, and now Jer is up the 5th though, but Josh 2 is going to look to try to get ahead of the AlphaTauri driver, who did not leave him too much room coming out of turn 1.
But backed out at just the last second, maybe trying to play a little bit of mind games with Izat, who's still right up behind Gernman now, as they are now officially battling for the race lead. They both lock up.
And that was Izat almost into the back of Gernman and almost lost some carbon fiber.
Yeah, Josh 2 set a fastest lap, and he's right up on the back of Jer now too, and they nearly had a bit of a bump going into that same section as Gernman and Izat did. You're not really sitting in a bad spot.
Izat, he might be challenging for the lead right here.
Yeah,
is Gernman. Gernman had an issue right there. They're side by side coming up into the braking zone near the chicane. Who breaks latest? I have to think it's going to be Izat. They're still side by side. They make contact. Gernman still side by side of him, and Gernman is a driver who will get touchy if you get touchy with him. Still on the inside in that penultimate turn, and Izat takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Does now Gernman make his pit stop? Now Cushion to the pits, and Gernman does not go into the pits.
And Gernman's continuing on.
And it's 2.4 seconds the gap between 3rd and 4th, so Knight is trying his best. VR gets another 3-second time penalty. That does help Toby, but I don't know about Toby's penalty situation. He's quite close to the back of VR, though, and VR is slowing up considerably, and they're going to battle side by side coming into turn 1. A move around the outside, contact between them, and VR still on the inside. Now it's going to be the outside for him, and no inside into this turn. Now the outside, there's contact between them, and VR gets spun around by Toby, and that is contact, and that's going to be plumb last for him, and it should be last unless something else happens to Toby, but there was contact side by side between those two, and VR is now down in last. Here comes Jer, though, for the lead of the Grand Prix, though, as we come back to the top 3 here, as Jer now DRS activated, and he's not going to activate that ERS just yet. He's a little bit too further back to make a move on Kerman. He might even make it within this lap. Isaac Kush, 1.4 seconds. There is 3 laps to go in this Dutch Grand Prix. Laps are around 1 minute and 9 seconds, just about minute 10 if you're lucky. So let's see here. Does Knight keep this podium, or is Kush going to get it ahead of him? No, those soft tires are about to start to expire now. So Fion up to 7. Jedian spun, and that's disaster for his race.
Yep, there was a bit of contact between in the battle between Sophion, Mr. Cool, and Jedian, and unfortunately Jedian got the worst of it, and he spun and he falls down to 10th spot in here with 2 laps to go.
And here we go, DRS activated again now for Jer. This should be the next lap where he makes the move. We're going to go on to that penultimate lap. 7/10 of a second separating Knight and Kush. So does Kush still have the tire advantage coming on to this penultimate lap? What can Knight do? Can he still keep this podium position? He's going to be sweating right now in his car seat. Here comes Jer on Gurman, ERS, DRS, and it's going to be the lead of the race, I believe, for the AlphaTauri driver. And yes, Jer takes the lead of the Grand Prix, and it's going to be Gurman now in 2nd position. Kush is going to try to make the lead. Now he's going to get up to 3rd. Yes, he does, and he makes the move early on Knight, and Knight could do all he could, but ultimately it wasn't enough, and only 4th now, best for unless Kush has an issue. Isaac Kush will do all he can. 2.1 seconds. I think Knight might be able to do it here. Coming around now towards the penultimate turn, then the final turn. But Jer is going to win the Dutch Grand Prix ahead of Gurman with a fantastic drive from him. Jer finally beats the Sweet Crown machine, but will there be a penalty at the end? Coming across the line, Knight gets on the podium as well, and he'll be very, very happy with that one, and it's a Red Bull 2-3. Jer takes the win, though, and it's a Red Bull parade right now. Jer in the win. Gurman in second, Knight in third. He is not, you can hear in the background, he cannot believe that. Knight getting in third position. Carter is going to finish in fifth. A great top five for him. Duwill in sixth. And what a Dutch Grand Prix. Drama up and down the field. Sweet Crown 19 doesn't even finish, but finishing in the top. So everybody's going to score points as Stunik's going to finish 13th. A great race for him. But what a race. Made up a lot of positions there, and there's your winner. Jer takes the win, but is it going to be a penalty post-race for him with that contact with Sweet Crown 19? There's going to be some discussion. The Red Bull drivers on the podium. Knight with a return of fortune here. He puts it in third position. Gurman in second, and there's the Crimson Chin Schumacher on the podium still. So despite Sweet Crown not winning, we still have Schumacher on the podium, which is actually quite depressing. Nonetheless, though, Jer is your winner. Gurman in second, Knight in third, fourth for Isaac Kush, Carter in fifth, sixth for Duwill, seventh for Sophion. Jamie in 8th, 9th for Josh 2. Pugh rounds off the top 10. Mr. Cool in 11th, 12th for Nathan JB. Estunik in 14th, 14th for Jedian, 13th for Estunik. 15th, rounding off the points, is VR.